I don't know, probably the only organ that didn't suffer after all this was my kidneys.
You either get hospitalized now, or you'll probably die in 2 months.
I just remember my boyfriend's face, looking at me and saying, "Stay alive, please, just stay alive."
How did your anorexia start?
My parents are divorced. My mom remarried and is happy. She had a son and started to gain weight. My father would constantly remind an 8-year-old girl, his own daughter, about the importance of being thin. A woman should be slim. I loved to eat as a child. I wasn't overweight, just a bit chubby. Kids can be mean with their jokes. They'd say, "Look at those folds when you sit down. That's fat," triggering insecurities that would later resurface in adulthood. At 20, I started being on a diet more seriously. Before, it was just quick diets I'd quit, but then I couldn't stop. You see some results and think, just a little more weight to lose.
There's another aspect to my illness, perfectionism. Many think anorexia is just about food. It's not. I was shocked when I realized it, not expecting such a thing from myself. I studied hard for 4 years in college. Then, in university, I noticed my life was only about work and studies. Food seemed unnecessary. Why eat when you can work?
I can't say I had weight issues, lacked friends, or faced family problems. Quite the opposite. Everything was perfect and I had a great friend. But when that person betrayed me, I was unprepared. Having lived in an idealized world, I began to project my social failures onto myself, thinking something was wrong with me. Looking at my legs in jeans one day, I thought, I don't like them. That's what I dislike about myself.
What did you do to lose weight?
At my lowest weight, I was eating around 1,000 calories. It was like cabbage, fat-free cottage cheese, chicken breast, apples. I just couldn't eat normally anymore. My sense of hunger had kind of dulled.
30 grams of oat flakes with water, 400 grams of these frozen vegetables, and 100 grams of cottage cheese. That's it. It's just 300 calories. It turned into some sort of game like, can I eat so little, go so many hours without eating, and so on. And, since I didn't feel like eating, I thought, why not use it to my advantage? I mean, everyone else had normal, standard, beautiful bodies. And I thought, I can have a beautiful body too, but in a non-standard, unique way.
It wasn't that I didn't eat on purpose. I always had breakfast. The rest, lunch, dinner, well, it depended. My studying, finishing up a lecture or something, that was more important.
How did anorexia affect your appearance?
All my bones were sticking out. If I stood up, there was enough space between my legs for another leg to fit. My hair was dry, brittle, falling out. Only half your hair is left on the brush after combing, sitting in the bathtub, just crying because you're scared. When you lose so much weight, you lack vitamins. My nails were breaking. Now, my hair seems full, but it's partly because it's curly. It used to be twice as thick.
Going somewhere to swim and then realizing I can't, because, hair, it's just everywhere. Body hair grows more when there's not enough surface area, not enough body fat, and the body needs to stay warm. It's painful to sit, all these pelvic bones, everything protrudes and rubs against any surface, so it's impossible. Elbows were rubbed off, right here on the temples, the skin was rubbed off.
How did your family and friends react?
People were actually scared of how I looked. I thought, well, what's wrong with them? Why are they afraid?
I didn't meet with friends at all. It was a conscious decision, on purpose. I didn't want to show myself. Felt like people were looking at me in a weird way. Strangers, that's okay, but family? The family who just started banging on the table asking, what's happening? How could they convince me? They couldn't. Not until I decided for myself. I'd make excuses saying, just a bit longer and I'll see a doctor.
My mom cried, hugged me, saying, I just want you to be happy and healthy. But I was just, you know, this trapped, anorexic, thin child at that moment. I saw how scared she was. She was afraid I'd die. She read all those articles about anorexia. It's hard to forgive yourself for causing so much trouble. I live with my stepfather, and I remember how he worried about me being so thin, how he bought me these pants. Nothing else fit. Everything became huge. How they spent money on medicine, pills, bought expensive vitamins just so I wouldn't die.
So my mom at first tried to be patient with me, but then of course she started arguing with me about it. We fought, we yelled, and I still wouldn't eat. I realized that she still loved me and that not eating what she cooked, well, it wasn't really that bad in the grand scheme of things. There was this one time she said, at least drink a glass of milk before bed. And the milk was like skimmed. So she's like, it's very low in calories, just drink a little, please. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Went to the kitchen, poured half a glass, not the whole, and filled the rest with water. My mom saw it and was like, what's up with the milk? The consistency was off, you know, she figured it out and just said, fine, go pour it out. And that's what I did, and I was happy, went to sleep thinking, see, I barely drank anything.
How did you perceive yourself?
I felt so ashamed. I was wearing 3 pairs of jeans, one over the other, and then another, a tank top, another tank top, my hoodie, my boyfriend's hoodie, and on top of that, a denim jacket in the summer.
Like, there's always a problem area. For me, it was my stomach. I looked at it and it always seemed big to me, even when I weighed 40 kilograms. I was practically nothing, but I saw that stomach and kept on losing weight.
Yes, I liked it. I mean, I was going for photo shoots. Photographers saw me in real life and they were like, yeah, we saw your photos online, but we didn't think you were that skinny. At first, I thought it was a compliment, but then it turned out it wasn't. Some people confessed to me that they photoshopped my arms, legs, you know, added volume because I was too thin.
When did you realize that it was time to stop?
It was when I really started to fight it, not just putting on an act to calm my parents. My godmother took me to the doctor early one morning. The first thing he said when I walked into his office, you either get hospitalized now or you'll probably die in 2 months.
Well, I always went to our local therapist, and then of course I had to get another health certificate for school. We went to the clinic in the August. I step on the scale and it's like 32 kilograms, which is very little. Doctor says, okay, come back next week, try to gain at least 2 kilograms. Next week it's down to 31, and well, they referred me to a child neuropsychiatric clinic.
It got to the point where I lost consciousness. I thought, that's it, it's the end. I just remember my boyfriend's face looking at me and saying, stay alive, please, just stay alive. And then it clicked in my head. I was worried. Yes, I was.
How was the treatment process?
They take away all your stuff. I'm sitting there not understanding what's happening. How did I end up in the hospital? They told me, you came here on your own, and if you want, you can leave on your own. Turns out, it doesn't work like that. I had just arrived, just settled in my room, and there were other girls telling me that here they give tokens for food, they have their own system. This was specifically for anorexics. When we ate breakfast, we got 1 token. For lunch, 1 token for the first course and 1 for the second. And we used these tokens, 3 for a phone call to our parents. So to call home, we had to eat. Meeting someone within the ward cost 5 tokens, so you could sort of pay for your parents to visit. They generally don't let anyone in, wave through the window, and that's it. I was lucky, I just looked thin. There were girls there, lying down, their bones sticking out more, their skin peeling off in patches.
When I got weighed at the hospital and I saw that horrible number, I think everything went dark for the second time. I thought, this is it. What's happening? 37 kilograms. but I guess I had already eaten then. The specialists who had been working on this for years, they helped, found the right approach. I got there and the first thing they asked was, "What happened? Something must be really troubling you." Because if you're neglecting basic human needs, neglecting food, sleep, you're sitting there thinking, finally, at last. From the first day I sought their help, I started receiving consistent treatment.
Initially, when I was admitted to the hospital, my weight was around 31, but then in the hospital it decreased. Even though the hospital had enhanced nutrition, my body just couldn't process the food. My stomach hurt, everything hurt, felt nauseous. I ate everything and tried, sort of, to really get the calories up to normal. And when I was there, well, yes, I can say they solved the weight issue. But the psychological issues, the real reason why this happened, they didn't help with that. And I was so annoyed that I weighed 47 kilograms because I wanted to leave the hospital at 40 kilograms. I thought, then fine, it'll be easier to drop to 35. And then I stumbled upon a social media group with certified psychologists, volunteers. They were offering a course of 5 free consultations with a psychologist over Skype. I really managed to relax and let go of the situation. And after that, I just started to live fully, not focusing too much on restrictions or things that could lead to overeating or undereating.
Were there any consequences for your body?
My health just became really bad.
I don't know, probably the only organ that didn't suffer after all this was my kidneys.
The thing is, when you lose weight visually, your organs shrink too. My uterus was like a 10-year-old's when they checked it with the ultrasound, but I was 20 years old. Every time they tell me there's improvement, I almost leave in tears because it's another step towards from someday becoming a mother. I like kids. I'm a teacher. I always knew I loved children, wanted a family, and in that moment, lying there, realizing I couldn't have that. You lie there thinking, am I an idiot or what?
How has your life changed after anorexia?
Now I feel as comfortable as ever in my body, in my weight. I give myself like, I don't know, 10 minutes of peace. Just breathe in, breathe out, everything's fine. Oh, I probably sleep a lot now, a stable 10 to 12 hours. At home, my boyfriend and I were talking. I started laughing and he looked at me and I began to cry. He's like, "What's wrong?" And I say, "I'm laughing, can you see? I'm laughing."
I understand that I can look good just the way I am right now.
You miss out on holidays because there will be food. You don't hang out with friends because what if we order pizza? I remember my first pizza I ordered with friends. After relaxing, and nothing happened, the world didn't fall apart. And here I was, spending over half a year of my life, even more, just on this fear of being fat, when I wasn't even fat.
What advice would you give to those who are in a similar situation now?
To the girls who might be in a similar situation, on the edge of thoughts like, I want to lose weight. Boys like skinny girls, no boy is worth your ruined health, damaged psyche, and it won't bring love either. When you're loved, they don't notice your flaws. Do you want to be with that boy or with your beloved? They're completely different things.
To make life interesting, you need to change in more peaceful ways, rather than extremely losing or gaining weight. It's better not to experiment with your diet at all.
If I had watched this video when I was ill, I probably would have said, "This is nonsense, everything will be fine. Like, it'll go away on its own or something." It won't. It never goes away on its own. When help was offered to me, I sort of refused it. I thought I could handle it myself.
And a piece of advice for parents. If you notice your child starting to examine themselves in the mirror, getting self-conscious, if you spot that typical anorexic behavior, you can talk to them and boost their self-esteem, tell them you love them, that they are wonderful and beautiful. Never tell a child, "You're so beautiful, if only you didn't have that belly." Everyone is beautiful, and we should teach children this from a very young age, that people around are all beautiful. Then they won't tell others they're not beautiful, and they will see themselves as beautiful too. If everyone is beautiful, I can't be ugly.